Business ownership is tough, especially for those who do not have a background when it comes to owning, managing, leading people, just having something that is an extension of them that creates life for other people, generates all this income. And one caveat that pops up a lot is what we call pass-through entities. Because when we talk about planning and you think about your finances as a whole, a business owner who starts a business, you can either be what they call a sole proprietor or a partnership where you basically funnel everything through your personal tax return. Or you can set yourself up as what they call a pass-through entity, where you can set yourself up as an LLC and then file as like an S corporation or a C corporation. And the thing is, when most businesses, especially if you fit within a certain mold, you'll likely file as an S corporation. And what that really means to you as a business owner is that all of the money that that practice generates, all that business generates, basically goes to its own separate form to illustrate, well, how much was received for providing a service, for selling some products. Then there's a certain amount of cost of goods that are subtracted from like to generate the business. And then there's a bunch of expenses that get deducted out of there to where then you're left with what they call your business income. Most of the time it could be net income. Sometimes people try to refer to it as EBITDA. There's many different things, but that money, that number, well, where does that go? That number then gets transferred over onto your personal 1040 tax return. And then the IRS uses that number to help calculate how much money in taxes you will need to pay. So there might be a time where, hey, you've only been paying yourself $100,000 a year, but then you owe $100,000 in taxes. Like, how could that be? Well, there's a very good likelihood if you take a closer look at your tax return, there will be the number for your business income that's popping up to where, wow, I actually made $500,000 in my business. So my total income is actually not 100, but it's $600,000. And that's hence why I'm having to pay $100,000 in taxes. One kicker about this is that the money that's showing on the tax return, well, that really is just used to pay, like, how do I make sure I'm good with the IRS and I'm paying my taxes that I need to pay? However, the money that the business generates when you're a pass-through entity, it either needs to be putting back into the business to increase the income that it creates, or the money needs to be put into your own personal life to build personal wealth, to diversify risk, taxes, and create some more accessible buckets for you along the way. So whenever you're thinking about your business and you are a pass-through entity, primarily like an S corporation, the money that accumulates in that business, if you take it and put it in your personal life or you leave it in your business, it makes really no difference from a cash flow perspective. You really want to pay attention to that number from a net income to understand what your tax obligation will be, so you don't completely drain the business of money. And that way you keep a certain amount floating in there for operations. And then you're able to create more sync of like, well, I can actually take this money on a continual basis. Pass-through entities are like one of the coolest things that exist today. And they started a while back to be able to give you the flexibility as an owner, especially as an S Corp, so you can be able to play the tax game of minimizing what you're paying in FICA taxes, what we call Social Security and Medicare, to then be able to take it as a business draw or distribution, a K1. There's so many terminologies used for it, but the former one is a K1, which is what would be shown on your taxes, to then basically help minimize some of the taxes that you pay along the way. Always a great thing to look at. If you're a bit confused on this, you want to chat further about it, reach out to us. Use that telephone number at the end of this video so you can send us a text, give us a call. We'll be happy to set up a 15-minute time to chat with you.